Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani, and welcome back to this YouTube channel on all things related to narcissism and narcissistic relationships. And happy holiday time. Here we are again, and I have to say, for anyone going through difficult, toxic, high conflict, narcissistic relationships, the holidays are tough. Today I'm going to take on a very specific issue, and it's related to how year over year, the holidays are a time of year that often keep people stuck in their narcissistic relationships, okay? And if any of you have holiday stories and your narcissistic relationships, whether with your partners or your families, and you feel like you can safely share them, I know some of your names are on your YouTube accounts, don't want you to feel compelled to, but if you have any thoughts on it or any ideas for how to deal with the holidays if you're dealing with narcissistic family and stuff, drop them in the comments. And this is, so let's sort of take this on, because I think a lot of people, every year they get so close and then the holidays set them back. So let's talk about that. This year, let's face it, 2020, the holidays will be bizarre. They're going to be distanced. They're going to be quite isolated for many of us, but not everyone. But the holidays are here nonetheless. And here in the United States, the whole drill with the holidays begins with Thanksgiving. Some would even argue it even begins with Halloween, but it definitely begins in earnest with Thanksgiving. It stretches out all the way to New Year's. And yeah, this year will be unusual. And every year, and you're welcome to call me a cynic, I sort of dread the holidays for my clients and for more than a few people who are very close to me. Because I see year over year, there are people who get so close to maybe leaving a narcissistic relationship or continuing to set really good boundaries all year round, and then bam, the holidays come and they often get sucked back in to the relationship. People can often end up future faking themselves, saying things like, "Ugh, I don't want to be the one to ruin the holidays by sort of setting boundaries," or "I don't want to be alone at the holidays, so I don't want to end this relationship. I don't want to ruin other people's holidays. I don't want to be the one who's called the Scrooge for, ending this relationship during the holidays." People will say, "I'll get out after the holidays. I will reset boundaries after the holidays." And then, because the holidays often play into this delusion of closeness and romance, or perhaps the narcissist buys you a really nice holiday gift or gives you a holiday experience, lots of people get sucked back in. Then January comes, and then the usual invalidation and minimization and dismissiveness and gaslighting and lying all start again. And the person then spends the year, starting in January, slowly trying to get courageous. And then 10 months in, 11 months in, and boom, the holidays come again. And it's a delusion that you're going to reset the boundaries. Because let's face it, once you give a narcissist an inch, they will take 100 miles. And going back to trying to set boundaries again with them will mean that you keep fighting the same old battles, but it's worse. So you can see how you can spend months setting all those boundaries up and then lose them every year at the holidays, thinking, this year it's going to be different. Future faking, don't do it. The holidays are honestly one of the most, if not the most, trauma-bonded times of year. The memories of holidays are very complicated for many people. Although people will talk about sugar cookies and decorations and gifts, and again, maybe I am cynical, I got to tell you, the stories I get to hear as a shrink aren't all sugar cookies and decorations. They tend to be more about triangulation, substance use, unmet expectations, forced smiles for holiday cards, and forced attempts to look good to the world, while behind the lights in front of the house, or the decor, or the wrapped presents, or the perfect holiday card is a whole world of dysfunction and hurt. For many people, the holidays are a painful time of remembrance of families who didn't have enough. And then people who feel a sense of shame that the holidays evoke year after year. More than anything, though, just like a narcissistic relationship, the holidays for too many people are a time of unmet expectations and trying to convince yourself otherwise that no, it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's really fun and great and loving and wonderful. There's lots of justifying, lots of cognitive dissonance, lots of grief, lots of shame. So just when everyone is being told they should be laughing in the glow of a fire with lots of loving, non-gaslighty people all sitting around them, you can see how people almost feel pressured to justify, to try and create that illusion, even if it's only for a minute. And honestly, between you and I think someone needs to call out different venues like the Hallmark Channel for all of their happy ending despite how badly you treated me my whole life movies. People who are doing the survivorship work of narcissistic abuse in their own lives is hard enough. Movies like that make it more difficult because people actually think they're doing it wrong. Now, again, I'm owning it. Cynical, grinchy, scroogey Dr. Ramani. But the desire for a normal appearing holiday, however you celebrate it, means that sometime around October or November is when many people in a narcissistic relationship will convince themselves that, this relationship isn't working, but let me just put those concerns aside. Let me put them on ice for a while and maintain that false hope. It's the holidays, after all, that maybe this year will be different. Now, if your narcissist is your actual family of origin, mom, dad, siblings, grandparent, whomever, it's even worse. Because after each set of holidays, a year goes by, and a year is just about the right amount of time to erase enough of those really gross memories that you can trick yourself into thinking, whatever, I was probably making too big a deal out of last year. This year it's going to be different. And then this year comes, the whole cycle repeats itself again and again. Because that right there is the crux of the narcissistic relationship. People with these personalities don't really make significant changes, so the behavior doesn't change. So the only thing that can really change is you. I have never held to the idea that anyone has to leave a narcissistic relationship. That's why I wrote, should I stay or should I go? But I also recognize that walking away from a family of origin is really hard and that ending marriages is a very personal decision. The thing I cannot get behind is people staying in a narcissistic relationship because they think it will get better. It won't. You can stay if you want. It's not going to get better. And in that way, though, the holidays can get people stuck into a falsehood of what they hope the holidays will be every single year. Trust me, there isn't enough tinsel or twinkly lights in the world to hide the toxic impacts of a narcissistic family system. The holidays are also a time when the concept of gaslighting by tribe is literally on fire. It's bad enough to have the gaslighting by tribe the rest of the year, but if you try to set a boundary during the holidays against a toxic family member or in-laws or spouse, you will repeatedly hear, "How could you? How could you be like this? It's the holidays. Come on now, it hasn't been that bad. After all, this could be grannies or aunties or cousins or whoever's, whatever family member, you fill it in. It could be their last year. Please don't spoil it." And year after year, you relent to this manipulative, reality-negating experience at the hands of your family. You don't want to be the spoiler. As it is, you've already been probably called the spoiler in your family. And what all of this does, in essence, is it enables the toxic players in a family who use the holidays as one more thing that they can use to kind of keep the narcissistic supply of the family. They keep holding court. They keep being petty. They keep being passive-aggressive or controlling or whatever their antagonistic pattern is. But because it's the holidays, everybody needs to show up and put up. Showing up year after year, if you show up to these holiday get-togethers, is you signing off on it. And even if you try to make a small tweak to it, for example, this will be the year you stay in a hotel. This will be the year I'm going to leave a few hours earlier. This is the year I'm going to put a spending limit on gifts. Whatever you do, the enabling tribe will gather, and you will see how these gaslighting, invalidating holiday dynamics get galvanized every single year at this time and trickle into the next year. Listen, I hate this pandemic. I hate it. I hate how many people have lost lives, family members, loved ones, have lost their livelihoods, have lost their savings, the long-term health impacts on people who experience this. And I'm really sad to see how many people have taken hard hits. And I know there's many divergent opinions on the pandemic, and these opinions may also diverge within a family. But this year, if you need an excuse, this pandemic is giving it to you. The family gaslighting will persist. In some family systems, you're going to hear, oh, come on, don't be silly. The pandemic isn't that big a deal. We always get together for the holidays. We always do a gift exchange for the holidays. We always, always, always. But maybe with a little bit of a kick in the pants from a pandemic, this will be the year you set the boundary. And maybe it's not the year you do that. I'm no judgment for me either way. But also recognize that this is the year the dynamics in your family or your relationship or whatever, it's not going to be the year they change. You know why? Because these dynamics never change. But remember, even during 2020 and the mess that this year has been, you may have made, despite the mess, you may have made a year's progress in your healing from narcissistic abuse, your courage, your boundaries, your managed expectations, your radical acceptance. You may have done a lot of work this year. Please don't let a sugar cookie, Santa Claus, or a childhood illusion of holidays be what pulls you right back into this toxic dynamic. You may still show up to the holiday, that's on you, but at least have realistic expectations. Accept that it's going to be the usual set of problems. Don't over-engage the difficult people in your midst, and be sure that when you can, during this so-called festive season, try to set up a group Zoom or a distanced walk outside with the people out there who don't invalidate you, but the people who support your growth and who see you and see you unconditionally. You can call me Dr. Grinch. You can even call me an obscenity. You can call me whatever you want. But remember that every year, this is the month, November into December and into early January, the months, these are the weeks that many people often get set back and stuck in their narcissistic relationship. It's a really painful reset. Try and make this the year that you don't do that, or at least that the setback isn't so extreme. And at a minimum, even if this is the year you still go all the way set back, try to be a little kind to yourself. If you're in a narcissistic family system, I can tell you, kindness is probably the one gift you're not going to get this holiday season. So make sure you gift it to yourself. So let me say happy holidays. I recognize that the recommendations about the pandemic and staying safe are very, very different all around the world. And I know these videos are watched by people all around the world. I hope that you're able to find the path forward that is safest for you, for your family, for the people you work with, and for your community. And for that, all you can do is sort of listen to what the rules and regulations are around you. I'm not an epidemiologist, but what I do know is narcissistic abuse. Mask or no mask. If somebody is going to gaslight you this holiday, like they did in other years, they're going to do it again. So again, happy holidays, and try to find some of the kindness there and give it back to yourself. Bye-bye.